Is he already here? Or are you just preemptively nice?
No, I went into chat. It says he's a user in chat.
Good. Cool. Welcome,
Hello.
everybody, to episode 3 of the Savor Sight Anime
Papa?
Affray podcast for the winter
Edition.
season 2021.
Hey, it could be on YouTube. You don't know.
We have been watching some stuff, and by that I mean Michael and I have been watching some stuff. I should get announcements out of the way quick. We will not be. I also need to open the voting thing. That's my bad.
No, it's good.
But we will. It will just be the 5 of us this season. If you joined us at the end of the last season, Tommy was with us. He was here for the first episode. He is too busy. He works a full-time job. Not that that takes up a lot of his time. So he will not be joining us for the rest of the season. We will keep watching his shows, however, and if he wins, we will give him the credit he deserves.
True.
Outside of that, I think that's everything. We're going to be spoiling things, and there will be harsh language. We're also going to try to make this a quicker week for the sake of Dylan. And only Dylan, definitely.
Hey, less shows should be quicker, right?
Yeah, that's always how that works. But let's
That's always
let's
how it
let's
works.
very rapid fire talk about what we've been watching outside of this. Jujutsu Kaisen happened. Jujutsu Stroll. It's good.
Always good.
So good. This episode's so good.
It's so good. It's
Dude,
just the
Toto,
best show.
Toto just
I don't know.
guiding him through how to actually use curse energy and stuff, and now we're getting more of the other characters too, and like
That
how
fight scene at the
Maki's
end.
actually sick.
Ooh,
Ooh,
for
bitch just
catching the bullet.
catch that blood out of
Ooh.
nowhere.
It was good.
I just
Jujutsu Kaisen's biggest strong suit is that it writes really interesting characters. It's really sad when we focus on a whole 3 of them for an entire arc when there's like 8 that we know of. It's very now we got all of them and it's real good.
Michael
so
and
good.
I did some things. we have
You did some things.
continued into R2 season 2 of Code Geass.
Oh,
It's fun, isn't it, Michael?
Oh, it's real
how
fun.
far in are we?
We just finished. We just did the Million Zeros episode.
Ooh, sounds good.
So we're
Yeah, we
heading
got
into
through
the
that.
Chinese. We're heading into the Chinese Federation stuff, which is like a chunk of the season.
The big brain escape plan, dude.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's the greatest.
You can't kill all of us.
Speaking of big brained, I also sat Michael down this weekend to watch all of Erased.
Yep, that was
Oh,
Yeah,
how's that?
Michael, tell me about this.
that was a time.
It's a show, dude. Oh, had either of you seen it before?
I had watched it over
Yeah.
the summer. I had, through context clues of the OP, figured out the mystery in its entirety, kind of. But yeah, I love it still. I picked up on more cool things as I watched it the second time. I really enjoy Erased. I think it's a great mystery thriller.
How many episodes was that? It's like
12.
22?
12.
Is it really only 12?
Only-
Only
Dude,
12.
shout outs to opening number 2 of that show. That's all I gotta say.
God
Opening 2 is the best.
I appreciate
Can't
that
just
it's
do that.
incredibly hard to find it anywhere. Like you have to
Oh, yeah.
really look for it, and that's the best thing that fan base could do.
It never comes up on AMQ either. I'm waiting for the day that it comes up.
So good.
But-
And then we started watching and are caught up with the show we're not watching this season. One of them, Jobless Reincarnation.
Oh,
This is really solid. For an isekai, it's good. It
Yeah,
takes
it's-
its time. It builds its world. Its main character's a pervert, and that's somewhat a problem. But I'm really hoping as the character grows, moves away from that. That's gonna be like the only thing that makes me hate this show is if he gets worse or he like stays stagnant with that personality trait.
yeah. It has the one problem that a lot of shows have, where it's like, when you have things like an isekai or time travel, where it's like, or like switching body kind of thing, where it's like, oh, that's actually a 29-year-old or like a 40-year-old, but they're currently a 5-year-old interacting with other 5-year-olds. That's weird.
Erase.
But like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I think both Jobless and Erase do it very well, where it doesn't feel super awkward. Yes, there's bits and pieces of Jobless where the joke is that he's an old man, but like, I think generally it's not bad. with that.
As a heads up, if you're going into Jobless Reincarnation, no, that show is just horny. There, there's a more than I thought amount of horniness in that show. His parents fuck more in that show than I was expecting to be relevant to the story.
Listen, Sean, we have Redo of Healer this season. I like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
you're.
I mean,
you're
yes.
honestly,
Healer and
I think that
Dungeon only I
takes
can
the
enter
trophy of
exist.
I can't believe it's not hentai of the season.
There's a lot.
if
There's a
you're-
lot this season.
If you're looking for a horny
There's a
fantasy,
lot.
I think Jobless is the best. You'll enjoy it, and you'll enjoy things that aren't just the bad parts of it. It also looks fucking amazing, which is a plus.
A lot of shows this season actually look really good. And then there's the anime of the season, X Arm. Like, I mean,
we don't speak about
Such
that.
a good.
but it's the greatest show this season. But I don't know, Jackman, what have you been up to? I haven't talked to you in like a week.
Fucking work.
Mm.
That's about it, really. I haven't actually watched anything other than what we are watching, and then just like previous stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kind of simple.
What about you, Pablo? What have you been up to?
Jujutsu Kaisen and Boruto. There was like a mid-season break of Ruby season 8 or volume 8, whatever. And their break just ended. Their newest episode just came out, but I didn't watch it yet. So I'm gonna start watching that again. That's it.
I'll wait
Other
until
than that,
it
just the
fin-
shows we have.
I'll wait until it finishes.
That was me with Fruits Basket, and now it's still on my backlog that I have to get to at some point for season 2. So for me, I mean, it's the same shit every week. Jujutsu Kaisen, ReZero, Weeklies, and Rando.
Oh yeah, ReZero
And-
for me too.
I'm
Actually-
so far behind on ReZero.
I actually popped the fuck off last night. I finished first in my group for Rando qualifiers for top 64 for a bracket, and out of 20 something people, including the current best Rando player out there. So that's pretty cool.
Ugh.
I finished first by about 15 minutes, which is a fucking gap. It was
Big gap.
it was cool. I gapped the shit out of him, dude. So I'll probably make top 16 at least, but
Good.
it's fun.
Michael and I are also watching Slime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's being slime. It's
It's
I don't
good.
know what it's
I'm
gonna
still
be.
waiting on Long
slow.
Horizon. I'm binging Long Horizon when that's done. I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be the
I'm
agenda
waiting
once
on,
I.
I'm waiting on that and like
time.
Promise Neverland.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I think that means we're good to just dive into it. Michael. Tommy's not
Go for it.
here.
Okay.
2.43. What are your
Um,
thoughts before I pass it to everyone else who is going to have thoughts on it, I'm sure.
243. I enjoyed this week. This week was fine. It didn't do a whole ton. We got some bits and pieces of like just characters existing. It did one really good thing, which is it gave us closure and stuff about the whole thing with Chica and him bringing someone to attempted suicide, and we learned that it was just a prank, bro. And my god, did it hurt me when they just went, "Oh yeah, it's a prank. It was just a prank, bro. Why are you so mad?"
you just
And I'm
wanted to quit
like,
volleyball.
bruh.
Like,
Yeah. I think the rest of the episode was fine. I think the whole thing about him being in a fight and whatever, and then him almost getting the team suspended was kind of dumb. It is like an unimportant plot point that didn't need to happen because it didn't amount to anything other than Chica and such being mad at Uni for like 15 minutes.
that's my biggest problem with this
And then-
episode.
And then it just resolves because it wasn't even the brawl that he got into. It's because he got punched by his cousin. Like, I completely forgot about that, and I was just
Yep.
like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That's actually the result."
I was like, why does he need to hide this? And it's like, oh, so his cousin have to say they were sorry, apologize, but like they had to do it anyway.
What?
It was just such a non-issue, and it.
Why was this an issue to begin with? Like, who reported this to the school? Who cares?
Yeah, it took up time in the episode, and it amounted to literally nothing other
Just
than
say the man got hit in the
characters
face with a
being mad.
volleyball. Like, He plays a contact sport.
I think technically it's like, oh, because of what happened there is what led to Uni and Chica going to visit the other school. But like, I think him going to that school, I think that entire bit was really neat.
I want more
But
volleyball.
I just think the non-issue,
just play
we need more volleyball. There was there was like no volleyball this episode.
Best thing this episode does is it moves Chika's character away from Kageyama's from Haikyuu. He's less Kageyama because he's not Kageyama is 100% intentionally an asshole at what he does. He makes every conscious decision and is at fault for his actions. Chika got fucking like
he just wants to be on a good team, man.
He got MTV pranked, bro, about fucking pushing a classmate to suicide, and now he's just super serious because it almost costed him his chance to go to like the big tournament. So like I hope that's God, if this show resets these two's character relationship one more fucking time, I have to watch them want to tear each other's throats out again. It's gonna be a yikes from me because I feel like we should be past that point by now with these two, and we should really be meeting the rest.
Should
of the
just be
cast
volleyball.
and volleyball.
That's what like last episode was. That it was them coming to understand that both of them were partially incorrect, or just Uni's just a dumbass, and she needs to communicate.
Yeah, like my issue with the show is like, whenever you're gonna like care about any other characters besides those two. Like,
I think
anybody else matter in
Captain
this entire
really...
show? Yeah, like he's going to be, but like we're 5 episodes in and we don't care about anybody besides Chika and Uni, and that's it. Like that's the only characters we've really gotten to like. Here's a character, you know. Whereas they're like, okay, these guys exist and they're on the team, and there's like 8 people on this team, and I couldn't name a single person besides those 2. 5 episodes in, just because they haven't come up enough.
Oh yeah, I cannot name them. I could tell you all their distinct characters.
I was like, yes, tall guy who's the middle blocker. I like him. That's all I can tell you about him.
Yeah,
I like
captain dude. Then captain the short guy.
Rugby
the
boy.
libero that has existed in the background once or twice.
Captain Shoya, yeah.
The rugby
boy.
player.
The rugby guy,
yeah.
And then Shy Dude who's got a girlfriend.
Let's go Shy Dude with a girlfriend. I like that guy.
If you think like it's hard to not talk about the show and like make parallels to Haikyuu. If you think back, Haikyuu doesn't have a lot of characters you care about by this point either. You only really care about Hinata and Kageyama, and the only other characters you like have spent time with are the captain, and then Tsukishima and fucking I can't remember his name.
Tadashi.
I mean, we've spent time with the Libero too. He had his like little like arc and
not
like,
this early though.
Not necessarily.
He wasn't even. He wasn't even
introduced.
introduced.
A character until season 2.
We had significantly more
is he
volleyball.
Really not?
I think
he was introduced like super late season 1.
Yeah.
No, it's like episode 10, season 1. But
I think to approach
the
the show,
play anything until like late the season, don't they?
I think in order to approach the show, you can't compare it to Haikyuu.
Yeah, it's different.
No,
it's a completely different show.
The people are like, oh, Haikyuu's so good, but it's like, Haikyuu is
This
also
is
just as slow.
This is more like in the head, like of the characters, like psychology, like just like it's more of like a drama than just volleyball, right?
Yeah.
But
it's like it's the two of them combined.
I'd still like the volleyball.
Yes, I definitely agree. There needs to be more volleyball, but comparing it to Haikyuu, I feel is like a hard stretch because of that reason.
Bright side, I think we're getting a game. I think next episode is a game because we end the episode with them being like, so we're gonna dethrone the reigning qualifiers, right? And I'm like, well, you better show me it.
Didn't they lose in the tournament because they got DQ'd though?
No. No, I don't. I think they had time before their next game.
I thought they got DQ'd from that match, and like they're looking forward to the fall tournament now, the big fall tournament or something. This is like
that's what it was
invitational or something.
But then the whole thing got resolved because it was all a non-issue.
I can't follow like. I couldn't follow like what was actually going. And like this is the show I'm not skimming through. Like you guys have seen me watch the shows. I'm like, all right, next scene. Like I'm actually like, okay, I like my sports shows. I'm gonna watch the whole episode, and like I can't really follow what the point is still. Like, well, okay, fall tournament. I got that much. Like, is this the fall tournament? Like, is the next episode fall tournament? Like, are we in it now? Like,
drop me a date. Drop me a date. I can't tell. I know.
Like, put like a date and a setting.
Show
and
me
like,
a calendar.
Show me a rival team or like a character.
I mean, You just got to see the surroundings, you know? If it's like, it's hot, you'll see ice cream. If it's cold, there won't be no leaves anywhere.
It's a shame that northern Japan is cold and southern Japan is hot, so it's very hard to tell if we don't know the location of the country.
Thank you, Equator.
The saddest thing about the show is that when we don't get volleyball, the reason why
Just
not getting
depressing.
volleyball is very sad is because this show, when it does actually have animate volleyball and them playing, it looks really good.
Mhm.
Like the bits we've gotten all look really clean. And then they just don't do it sometimes, and it makes me sad.
It feels like there's a lot more force to the actions going through, like in the game when you're watching it, right? Like it feels like there's a lot more weight behind the actions the characters are doing than say Haikyuu, which feels a bit floaty, if that makes sense.
Like
Yeah,
I think I said
sometimes,
last week, this show feels more of like when they do the volleyball scenes, it's like this is volleyball.
It's
With
definitely more
Haikyuu, it kind of
realistic.
just like it bounces, kind of.
Yeah.
And you kind of see like the overall of volleyball. It feels like this is more of like, I do this, this happens, type deal.
Yeah.
That's why I think the animation is good for this.
Dylan, do you have any additional thoughts?
No, I just want more volleyball. I don't want to watch a drama volleyball show. I just want to watch a volleyball show.
I can agree as well.
Yeah.
Stop giving me
I'll play
backstory.
volleyball,
I feel like
please.
they gave us enough.
I feel like we know enough about the main character.
Yeah, just play volleyball. You're not going to dive into the side characters at all, so stop diving into the main characters so much. We get it. They have issues.
Yeah, we finally tied up everything with that.
And if you're gonna keep talking about the main characters, spread it out a bit. Like
It felt very quick.
the first 5 episodes feels like all we focused on is these 2 characters, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a lot of shows will like take a character, talk about them for an episode, move on to another one, come back to that character an episode later. You know, kind of spread it out a bit so it doesn't feel like the same kind of like the same storyboard almost each episode with like just a different plot to it. But I don't know. 243 is not the worst show, so
Yeah,
it is not the weakest link.
So
that's the
let's-
thing. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
It's just there.
So let's 2.43 has a blessing that it's got some time.
it's got time.
It's got time.
Got time.
So back arrow. Stuff
Does it have
happens.
time?
Stuff happens in back arrow. Look. I don't know if there's much for us to discuss with back arrow besides the point that I know this show isn't amazing or gonna be amazing. But it's fantasy mech fight. It's not
Is
even.
it fight though? Is it fight?
I was gonna say they're not even great
No,
fights.
it's fantasy
We're
mech
at-
shouting.
We're at the point where it's not even great fights, especially this episode. Though Back Arrow gets his ass kicked, which is neat.
Yeah, but then he gets to pull a Kamehameha out of his ass. Like, like
That's it. Something new
just keep
every week, man.
This man
I am ready. I will be ready to vote off Back Arrow once I think the things that are really bad are gone. But for now, I'm not doing it because I don't need this gone yet. That's my stance on Back Arrow.
There's other things.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
it's so close. It's so close to being on the outs, but like it's like I got other things on the agenda right now.
Like to
I
actually
don't-
like give an opinion on the show, like they don't do anything with the powers they have. It's just a measure of conviction. They could stand still and measure their conviction to each other, and then they walk away.
Yeah.
It's a
And
shouting
then-
match.
Yeah, no, that's literally what it is. It's a shouting match. They stand there and they yell, and whoever yells louder, the other one just walks away. It's like
It's really Dragon Ball Z, dude.
it's kind of dumb. I wish they would do something, anything.
I really hope next. I unfortunately think this next episode of Back Arrow is going to be introducing the other nations' generals, which I don't think we need right now. Is more characters who are just going to float around the story for a while. I would really hope that what really happens next episode is they get to the fucking wall and we learn something.
Nope. 24 episode show. It's got time.
Yeah, no, they're not getting the wall yet.
They're not getting to the wall for around another 16 episodes.
But my thing with this show is like the general opinion Sean has, which is, I understand the show is not very great, like, but my God, do I enjoy every fucking second of this show because it's just dumb bullshit. I'm just fucking smiling ear to ear every fucking second because it's just dumb.
See,
You know what I just had a thought of?
enjoy.
It's Attack on Titan just in the future.
Stop.
Oh no.
Stop.
True. I'm with it. I'm
Uh,
with
Do
it.
not say that ever again.
This is not a very well known thing on the podcast because this season didn't go up in its full. But Sorcerer's Stabber Orphan, its remake.
Dapper.
The hell's that?
It is a remake of Orphan.
Amazing title.
Which is like a old, I think late 90s, maybe early 2000s, action fantasy martial arts anime that they remade. It has its second season coming out right now, baby. I'm not watching it because I haven't had time. But I got that show to last significantly long because even though it was bad, there were worse things to get rid of that season. And that's what Back Arrow is. It's dumb fantasy bullshit that it doesn't necessarily do anything, but because it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything wrong. Sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It doesn't do enough wrong to justify taking it out back and shooting it yet. I've mapped out about where I think I need to start voting Back Arrow out. But I don't think that's now, and if we don't have anything else, this is a show I think we can just move right past.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed. It's a meh.
I don't get it.
Coolest thing this show does is not only change its ED, but also its OP. It's adjusted its OP too. They're moving characters around in it, and I think that's neat.
The show really feels like you're going back in time to where women just don't matter in anime because, man, every time they get like in a mech, they get bodied in 3 seconds and then are no longer in a mech. Specifically, Atali, who just keeps like trying to help and then just keeps not helping, even though her conviction is I'll manage somehow. She doesn't manage at all.
To be fair, I'm really happy they get bodied this fight because there's absolutely no reason they should defeat Kai in combat at all. Yeah. This man is like
military general god.
Yeah, he's unrivaled.
1v1,000.
He's unrivaled.
I can't stand that. That's what they made his goddamn conviction.
What did you? Wait, it's only gonna get worse.
Except now he has a rival, so is he fucked? Like, does he just like lose all
must
his power?
eat one raw egg a day.
He's still completely unrivaled because
let's move into Heaven's design team.
Wonderful. I mean, this show, I don't know what to say about it. I say the same thing every episode. I think it's funny. I enjoy it. I like the characters. I like the Hell episode. I think the Hell characters were great. And then deciding like Chernobog, or not Chernobog, but like three-headed dragon and Cerberus, basically. I thought that was cool. I like the idea of a Hell amusement park. It sounds kind of funny to me. And yeah, this episode's cute. I like it. I like that they're mixing around. I like that the show is like being creative with its topics and it's not like sticking to the same formula. It's kind of mixing up a little bit, at least. It's trying to mix up things just a little bit to keep it interesting. So I still enjoy it. I still think it's not the worst. So that's my take on Heaven's Design Team. And the engineer is still the best girl.
This was the least worst episode I've watched of this one. I enjoyed the otter bit at the end. I think is really cute and a lot of fun. I enjoy the sea otters.
Otters are the top tier animal, dude.
I love sea otters, so it's really hard to watch that and not smile throughout the whole thing.
Oh, they're so cute.
What I like about the sea otter portion of the episode is that they let the sea otter solve the problems, which I think is a neat thing to do, as opposed to just having them spoon feed the solutions to the creature like they have done.
Evolution is a thing.
I do enjoy. I did enjoy the Hell portion of this episode as well. I think this is probably the best this show will do.
I think the ambassador from Hell, or the client from Hell, is a very fun character. I enjoyed him significantly more than anything we've gotten from God. I mean, the only thing we've gotten from God is him just randomly yelling dumb bullshit.
It's almost like Hell's just a better place.
I just loved how they're all just like, wait, he's giving us direction and like creative interpretation and like like actual requests.
I definitely think that what this show needs is like physical client characters and the interactions between the design team, because just it's smacking ideas against the wall is so mind-numbingly boring after 4 episodes. And it was very interesting to actually get another character. And I think that's what this show needs for me to not hate it as much as the other shows. I don't hate this show as much anymore, but I still fucking hate it.
Okay, I want to pause. Jackman, what the fuck were you just doing?
Dude, I'm trying to avoid this show. I will agree that this episode was better, but all I see is just like roller coaster down to descent.
Okay, I still think it's better than Back Arrow's straight line, a flat line.
At 0.
It's like you're at baseline 0. It went up, and now you're just going down. I don't know. That's what I see. I feel like it's just gonna go back to what it was.
Oh yeah.
100%. I can agree that like if like a tribe on Earth is like, oh, we need a new, like, or they're praying to like the gods and like they're like, we need a new food source, and they're like, I would agree that like them trying to figure out like this like new food source would be cool, but like it's just like the same thing. I feel like
If we did that way, we got more time with Jupiter, then I'd be really happy. Jupiter's real fun.
it's kindergarten. I don't know, all over again.
It'd be neat if they were like, yo, let's bring in some like science figures like Darwin. Let's like have Darwin request a creature from us.
Okay, but like,
do
are
some
otters not the
interesting
best
stuff.
creature ever? Like,
I mean, I'm not.
I want them to talk about penguins. Penguins are amazing.
They're not wolves, and I'm not gonna get a wolf episode now because they already told me they made the wolf. So really, my interest out of this episode is completely clocked out. Like,
Okay,
you've
dude.
lost me.
They've talked about flightless birds, but they haven't talked about penguins yet. So I'm still holding on to hope that my favorite animal gets in there.
Mildly interested when they bring up dolphins and like the great. Did they?
Yeah.
Did I miss
That
that?
was episode
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
They had like an art battle of like creating dolphin versus like giant whale and like versus giant squid.
It was the whale
Did
versus the giant
they do
squid.
great white sharks yet?
They haven't done.
They haven't sharks yet.
They've shown some sharks, but they haven't done.
I'm trying to. What was the dolphin in relation to? Because I know Neptune made it, but I don't remember what the request was. It was
With the
something
nose.
bad.
or something.
I don't remember.
A fish that breathes air.
I don't.
Yeah, I think the idea is that he just took the idea of the whale, then
shrunk
went
it.
small, or like he made the dolphin and then made a whale.
No,
out of
something
it.
that was like
I
a
don't
cute
remember.
mammal in the water or something was like the basis, and then
Well, that was the otter.
I still think the best
No, the otter was
part of
a
this
sea
show
creature
is
that
the
isn't good at
fucking
swimming.
wiener, the hot dog.
That was a good time.
I still think that was the best part of the show.
I think the fight between Neptune and Pluto when they were making the giant squid in the sperm
That
whale
was
was
great.
amazing.
That's saying
I
a
think
lot.
that the otter scene is my favorite. The otters are just so adorable. It's just like he's cracking it open with a rock on his stomach. He's so smart.
Otters are the perfect evolution.
Otters are just
Animals.
the true G's, dude.
Caveman brain.
Wait,
So-
they'll wrap themselves in kelp to keep themselves afloat. But what if there's no kelp over there? They're holding hands.
Dash got 2 episodes of unsolicited hand-holding.
Speaking of unsolicited hand holding,
Let's-
holy shit.
Okay, I'm marking that off on my bingo board
Yeah,
Oh.
we need to do a bingo board for this podcast, by the way.
of just dumb shit people say.
So, Dash, hoard me.
Yes. What about the best show of the season, winter 2021? I still love this show. I think it's really cute.
It can still go in a fire.
We introduced some new characters with we introduced Hori-san, Horimiya's mother or father rather, who has already gotten replaced in the family with Miyamura apparently, because now it's his utensils and his portion of dinner. And no, I like how the family is like adapting to Miyamura being there all the time, but also like realizing that like, okay, I will admit that I heard what you said. Like we actually have a confession that was heard and understood and like acknowledged in like episode 5 as opposed to like episode like 12 and a half.
Fuck, they're just dating now.
I know. Like, are we actually gonna get like actual dating in anime and like actual progression of like how romance works? Or are we just gonna like get blue balled here?
No,
Like,
we gotta set up every other
That's what I'm worried
character
about.
into a relationship.
okay, I'm just saying though, that green hair girl,
No, don't jinx it.
I wish her the best, dude. I wish her the best. She's so cute. I love her.
If I
And she had good character this episode too, with the with her friend, and then kind of realizing that hey, I need to talk to someone about this because else it's just gonna be a problem for me, and I'm just pushing people away, which is bad.
Dylan might disagree
go
with
ahead.
me, and because I know he didn't like it last week when we focused on not the main characters. I think the way it does it this week is how it probably should do it, which is 80% of the episode should be our main characters and their relationship, and then just on the side we can build everyone else out, and we can build them out through the interaction with the main characters. I think it does a good job here of Purple Hair Boy is sad. He can't have his girl anymore, but there's another girl. And another girl.
I think the real tragedy of the show is the Toru Miyamura ship has died.
So there's was it 4 girls, 5 dudes? So someone's gonna be left out.
From the post,
probably
from the
generic
poster,
green-haired guy.
The poster we have, it's 4 or 5.
Probably Shu.
Someone's gonna be a
the green-haired
sad
guy
boy at
heard
the
of
end of the
3
game.
times, and then haven't actually met yet in the show.
He just kind of vibes, and every
He's
time I
loaned a
see him, he's
CD.
just being a dumbass.
He's
great.
there, but I like his friend too. Is it like Shido or whatever?
Shindo.
Shindu.
I called him Shino when we were watching,
Shindu's
and I'm
great.
like, that's the one from Naruto, but like, it's close enough to the name.
We're also definitely diving into the other character from Miyamura's backstory, because he had blue-colored hair, which means he's important enough because his hair's not just his hair's
Generic
a color.
brown or whatever.
We'll see.
We're gonna see him, I'm sure. Yeah,
I love these characters. I love the show. This is my alley. This is my forte.
I also like Hori's father. I have no complaints with this episode.
He was a good character.
Yeah, another good episode.
I like the juxtaposition of mom dropping the groceries, and you're like, "Oh no, she's pissed," and then she's like, "What are we gonna do about dinner?" It's good. The show balances comedy and like actual serious like I don't want to call it drama because it's not like real drama. It's just kind of like high school romance, right? Like I don't know. It's relatable. I enjoy it. Anyone else have any thoughts about the show?
Jackman, you didn't remember this show.
I like it. I really like it.
It's number one.
It's a good show.
It's
but
number one.
Things can go south pretty quickly.
Oh,
in
true.
Romance shows.
Yeah, that's just how shows work. Things can go south very fast.
But I think it's doing good if it can keep doing what it's doing. I feel like if it strays too far, things might get a little weird and become garbage fire quickly.
I'm optimistic because I found out that this show is actually the 13th most popular manga of all time.
Yep.
Now the manga could be good,
That's
but
true.
the animation
You're right.
could be bad.
Which is why I'm wondering, how the fuck, as a slice of life junkie, have I never heard of this shit before a month and a half ago when I randomly chose it for this podcast?
Do you know who the people who placed 13th in the Olympics are?
No.
Exactly.
Organization 13. Right.
Exactly.
No, but still,
Sure.
it's like one of the highest rated romance manga of all time. How?
Yeah, but the manga community doesn't interact with the anime community.
It's true.
Shouts to a boy Giga for giving all 3 of us that information.
I actually have looked it up at manga before, but I never shared it until I watched that this week, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's really weird how like a show can be this popular before and then the manga readers just slowly crawl out of their shelter to like mediate and be like, yeah, but the manga's better here. And it's like I will be reading that, and I will update you guys next season on how good the manga is.
To be fair, I had never heard of Tower of God before in my life, and its manhwa readers came out of the abyss to tell me that there were translation problems in the Crunchyroll dub. And that,
but then they also come out of the abyss to tell you that God of High School is top tier as well.
Yo, man,
and that show went from 0 to killing God in a fucking
Noblesse
month.
is killer, I hear.
It's so good.
Any other thoughts on Horimiya?
Shit out of here.
No.
I think we're
It's
good.
good.
Unless
Good.
Okay,
Pablo
Dylan,
has anything?
Dylan, what are your
Looking forward to
thoughts?
having it.
Dylan, do you remember what happened on this week's episode of I Start You?
Do you want me to be honest or do you want me to lie to your face?
I want you to be honest.
You didn't watch it.
No, I did watch it.
Oh.
No, I have no idea what fucking happened.
I watched.
It was a whole lot of more character. Honestly, it felt like a repeat of last episode,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like
Just we-
an exact repeat.
We just swapped the
for a
character
different
out.
band.
But
This
different-
time it was
yeah.
for the one person in IB instead of one of our main characters. So
it was
nothing happened.
it was characters trying to do something, characters that are better than them and already did it, and then these characters trying to learn from it, and in the end, they learned from it.
Got to increase the character cast by more. We're still not done. There's still 4 more characters.
my god.
My Michael said this to me, and I agree with him. Sorry, I'm not letting you say it. The best part of this episode is getting to listen to some jazz for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only
part of this
interesting thing that happens here is that
It was a
dude.
really good jazz song.
I
It was
think
very
the,
fun.
I think the
dude
best
plays
part is
sax.
when the credits roll for like the end in the ED, and then you can exit out of the video player.
I
And
mean,
go
yeah,
watch
the
a different
ED's
one.
also really good. So like that's pretty cool.
It's like a music show actually has somewhat good music every once in a while.
But it's like, okay, this show is just like 243. It's good when it's doing the music part of it, but bad when it does anything else.
Mm.
And it,
Mm.
but it's fine
not
when it's
as
doing
good as
the
243 in
music,
that aspect.
and it's
like
really bad when it's not doing its other stuff, when not doing music.
it's, it's like a more extreme version where it's like the highs are high, but the lows are so damn low. I mean, if you're into idol shows, this is probably like if you're into idol shows, it's probably up your alley. But I don't know.
Nah, if you're into idol shows, I think you should just watch the next show.
I
Go-
think
just
there's
go watch,
better.
Just go
there's
watch Love
better
Live and
idol.
Idolmaster.
There's,
Like,
there's just
Don't-
better
don't
idol
watch
shows.
Idolmaster. Idolmaster's bad.
is it though?
I don't
I
know. I
think
don't
that
get
show
through the
would've been
first
better
5
than
minutes
this
of
one.
Idolmaster.
I hear so much about Idolmaster. Like I watched the first season of Love Live and then the movie, and I was like, okay, I've got my fill of idol shows for my lifetime. We're good.
Yeah,
This
I
was
need to
enjoyable.
watch season 1 of School Idol Project for Love
Do
Live.
you?
I
There's a
only
couple
watched
good idol shows.
season 2 of it.
So let's put all the
'Cause that's
characters
cool.
on a wheel and spin it and see who we land on for next week's episode that we're not gonna watch.
Yeah.
Can you even tell us who he is?
I want to be the first person to have 3 shows out on 3 weeks. So can we
See-
vote my show out?
So next week we're gonna focus on the twins in Twinkle
No,
Because
no,
I
we're
think
never
that-
gonna see him again. I haven't seen him in 3 episodes. I don't think they're real.
they're just a myth.
Pretty sure it's the
That's
same
upset.
person.
Rumor has it there's another first.
It's
year
just
group.
in the same in the mind, you know.
Because we've
Different
gotten stuff with
personalities.
all 3 of our other first years that aren't Twinkle Bell. We've gotten stuff with Fire Phoenix hashtag. That we got with the other 2 groups.
Michael, just talk to me about Idly Pride. Let's just transition onto
See,
this
here,
one.
here we got a good idol show. See, if you're a fan of idol shows, watch this. It is
I think it's good.
I think as an idol show, it is pretty good at what it's doing. If you're not a fan of idol shows, you're probably not gonna like it. It's an idol show. It is very unapologetically an idol show. It just kind of vibes. But like, it's doing good at what it's doing. It has cute girls, solid music. All of the characters seem to be becoming actual characters. It's just gonna take a bit because that's how shows work. They all seem to have like interesting traits. Some of them seem very tropey. It's like, oh, it's the rich one, the quiet one, the gamer.
Oh,
Like,
gamer.
I feel like they're gonna have actual character traits eventually as they start building. This week we met a fun new character who's a spirit medium apparently,
The dancer
and can see
medium.
mana, which is really cool. Because like we have a character that Mana can interact with that is a female, and that's real neat.
I just like there being other characters that can interact with the main character and the ghost. Like, because if it was just these 2 the entire time, I might go insane.
Mhm.
But like you said, like it does some good things good. I mean, the show I think is hurt because it looks so much like a generic like high school trashy ecchi harem show,
Is it not?
but it's an idol show. Like,
We got a bath scene this week, is it
But,
not?
like, listen, you're always gonna get a beach scene
Like-
or bath scene in anime. That's just how it works.
Yeah,
we're just
that's just a rule.
we're just probably 2 to 3 episodes away from it happening in Horimiya. Let's be honest.
To-
Like, it's gonna happen.
to be
Fan
fair,
service.
That's when the
fair-
fire
We
starts.
had a the Kaguya OVA is about that.
to be
the-
fair, we get some information in the bath scene, which is that Sakura had surgery. So she probably like got Mana's heart transplanted into her, and that's why she sounds like her. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
that was my theory, and Yeah.
I,
Or her like
who,
vocal
who
cords or
knows?
something.
I don't plan to stick around long enough to find out the inner workings of this idol group.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well, yeah,
This week and next week.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you have to wait
Maybe
2 weeks
that.
because heavens.
Maybe that.
I don't know, man. There's another garbage here.
Well,
I think Lily Part's all right.
let's if we,
Dylan, I know you love idol shows.
I don't.
there's not enough.
But
there's
you
not
but you
much-
picked them.
I know.
This is the.
And I ended up suffering the most. Well, maybe Tommy did.
I think Tommy went clinically insane.
I think I made Tommy go insane, which was my goal.
You made him rage quit.
Actually drove the man to his own
Dylan got,
denial.
Dylan got more enjoyment out of Lapis than he has any of the idol shows this season, and that's because Lapis wasn't an idol show for the time we
Yeah,
watched
there was
it,
like witch shit going on. It was cool as fuck. And I'm like,
and it was
like,
boring.
anyway, here's 80 million characters.
That sounds familiar.
For sure.
Well, Komodo Jihen. Jackman.
I like me likey.
Really?
I thought this was a good episode for especially character growth.
The end half's good.
The end half's really good. I mean, it's like it's a slow build up, but it's I don't know. I enjoy it. It's I enjoyed seeing the powers. I enjoyed seeing the dude transform into like the raccoon to like give him, I guess I should say, like a boost in confidence, even though that he thought that it wasn't the manager, right? Even though it 100% is. And I just thought it was cool. I thought the ice effects were cool. I like the fighting animation towards the end. I like the buildup of it. I just enjoyed it. I think it has good potential.
I was really worried at the start of this episode when they went, "Yo, Akira, they're scary. They're gonna do scary shit with mice. Stay here, do paperwork, don't get involved." I went, "Please, just let this character do something." And then they gave me the second half of this episode. I was like, "Cool, good." We
learned about Akira's backstory.
Oh, we have a character.
We have a
Hooray.
character with a Sasuke brother.
Yeah.
Definitely not gonna run into any issues on that front later.
Oh, totally
Definitely a
not.
villain flashback.
No, I mean, I think probably the most compelling thing about this episode is the scene where Akira sits down and just goes, I came here
can
to
do
get
this."
stronger.
Yep.
What have I been doing here? I just hope some of the wimpiness gets toned down and we see a character and we don't just hit a reset button on this. I don't need Akira's whole personality to shift in the next 3 episodes. Like, you can keep the cute stuff there for his
Oh, yeah.
character. I don't mind it. Just get involved a little more. Let's see some
Being
really
able to-
cool combinations with what these 3 can do. Webs, ice, punch.
Like being able to throw icicles like with the like cutting silk. It just sounds like such a cool combo.
We also haven't gotten any closure on Cone taking the orange that was disguised as his head. So that's going to have to be, I assume, concluded next episode.
She's just
get
gonna
some
come
with
back in
that.
1 or 2 episodes and be like, "No, I need the actual head."
Yeah, where's the actual head? I like it. I think it has good build up potential.
Dodge, what
It is
don't
a
you like
completely
about it?
fine shonen.
I mean, I'm just not getting into it. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, I don't know. I can't get behind the main character. Maybe the first episode just kind of killed it for me in that like, it was so funny to me when I know it wasn't trying to be funny. And now I just can't like unsee that in the character where it's just like this kid just wanted to die, and now he's just kind of like this blank slate Mary Sue,
I mean,
and the characters around him I just am not sold on yet, right?
he has a goal now, at least. He wants to find his parents.
Katsune Miku over there is just kind of an idiot. I mean, I like that we
But
actually got
she's
character
our
development for
idiot.
once, but I just Close your eyes real quick. I'll get the head for you. Let me see. I got a fucking orange in here. Oh, here you go. Like, she'll be back. She wasn't back. She didn't come back. Not today.
To be
Probably
fair,
next week.
I think it's funny that they just fucking zip his hoodie up and like, yeah, his head's gone. I think that fits. I think that fits good. I think it's just real good. It's like have his head in the hoodie's chest.
I'm just like, this poor girl is so dense. Like,
she's not dense. She's just dumb.
It's super ironic that you can trick a kitsune. That you could
get it.
It's super ironic to trick a kitsune with an
that
illusion.
Is literally
which is
trickery.
Perspective,
so
illusion
funny.
user.
It's so funny to me.
I don't know. I'm just not into it. I don't know.
Dylan looks confused.
He's doing stuff probably, but also.
Yeah, I was reading something and I can't fucking read. What show is this, by the way? Because I also might be confused about this too.
Komodo Jihen.
Komodo Jihen.
Oh my god, I have no idea what's going on anymore. Completely lost me. I was all of a sudden turning into full-on animals, and I'm just like, okay, but they're yokai, I guess. So they're yokai.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that you can do is associate it with League of Legends, Dylan. So the kitsune are just Ari.
Yeah.
No, they're not, because Ari's actually intelligent and useful.
Well, most kitsune are. This one's a child and an idiot.
It's a child,
cut her some slack.
I mean,
this one's a child under an iron boot.
Smart? I haven't really read the lore.
Yeah, she
kind of
just rolls around with her tits out, and it's like.
She kind of just sucks the essence out of you. So, like, I mean, listen. That's pretty smart to me.
I mean, that's what the police officer chick does.
Ari's just kind of a dumbass.
Dylan, I'll level with you. I don't know what the fuck we were doing with that cat for the first half of this episode. Yeah. I just kind of blocked it out of my psyche and went, cool, action the second half. This works.
What was the point in that? Like, here's your love, I guess.
I think what it really was for, it was a build-up
for
the ice dude.
Yeah.
Because that was the build-up of there might be rats, and he's like, I don't like rats. I don't want to have anything to deal with it. But it wasn't like a really drawn out thing. It was like, this is happening, we solve this, and then we move on. Which I think was good, because like they immediately went to the next job, and it was like, action, what do we need to do? How do I fix this backstory for this character while fighting? He got over it, it got over it, I don't know. And kicked ass. I don't know. I think the ability to not prolong things is useful. I think it is doing that well.
I also think it's nice to show, because we haven't seen it yet, there is a way to solve the issues that they take without using violence. Because the whole cat thing was just stop the cat from running away and let him talk.
Yep.
Which, doesn't make for engaging content, but it at least
it's
establishes that, we're going to see some things that are always going to be punchy.
Yeah.
But we're still going to get punchy.
The company does more than just punch people.
I want to see fucking main character fucking flip out soon. I want to see that switch of like
Super
like
Saiyan.
Mob Psycho. Yeah, just like something flips in his head and he just gets fucking yoked and just crazy.
I kind of liked when he lost his soul stone in episode 1 and like.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if his soul stone gets taken from him, shit is gonna get fucked real quickly. I feel like. And then of course, like getting these small hints of his parents throughout the way, I think is a cool touch as well. Of a main character that's blank, that's trying to fill out himself.
Are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk other side.
Another show where what the fuck is going on?
I want to get what I think are positives about this episode out of the way. I think it handles the tone of this episode really well. I think its music, its atmosphere, and its pacing, while literally not a lot happens this episode, but how they pace it feels like you feel like you've been with them on their journey here. this is the first episode we get where they're also continuing us into the next episode with the same conflict and set of characters.
They actually took us into it with the fucking preview last episode, funny enough.
Yeah. We have something going on with these military soldiers. We have some weird fucking things walking around. We know that this place corrupts certain things because it took their, like, metal dog robot and turned it into an AT-AT.
Mm-hmm.
I think the monster designs are as unique and interesting as they have been. I want next episode to, like, do stuff. Because this was a lot of walking and build up for this episode, which I think is fine in the space it is. I think it worked for me.
I feel like this show needs a goal other than
I
two
just
chicks
don't-
trying to find out like that they're in love with each other or something.
They're trying to find that one girl's ex.
Yeah, they're trying to
like,
find Satsuki or whatever her name is.
But, like
Sasuke.
it's like
We should
Yeah.
see progress on that, though.
Is
if
this-
they're
is
gonna
this a
do it.
Satsuki
We haven't seen
retrieval arc?
any progress.
it's like they're just doing a bunch of random shit, and then eventually it's gonna pop up on it and be like, "Oh, of course, all of it makes sense, but we had to do all that stuff before."
She's
And
dead.
no, it doesn't.
You know, I
she's
still
half
want to
the
see
guy.
more of like
She's
the
corrupted. She's corrupted.
relic purchasing thing that was brought up.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool way of things that they're not showing. And I feel like that power grab of that could be explained more.
Maybe they'll buy a special thingy.
Also, still confused why Soro's blue eye is no longer visible.
I think it has to be a
thing.
contact, but they have not
Yeah.
given us any like statement about it
they
to
just, like,
hide
forget-
it.
They could have literally used 15 seconds of animation to show her like walking to a store and buying a brown contact.
Or just putting
So
it
like
in.
she doesn't, yeah, or her putting in a brown contact or something.
Or it's just not
'cause, like,
permanent.
It'd be weird if she just randomly gets. But
no,
what
she
happened
can
last
still
episode?
see it.
They were taught is the idea isn't the blue eye is what allows her to make sense of what happens in the other side and take it for what it is and actually make it exist or whatever the fuck shenanigans that is.
Maybe she can just turn it on and off.
But like
No.
in the last episode, there's a
What do you
bit where
mean,
it
no?
zooms in on her eye as she's looking at the glitches, and it doesn't show up as blue, which is the problem.
Like, what happened to that? Like,
I assume it's just a contact, and we either all somehow missed the 5-second scene where she puts in a contact, or they just didn't do it and we're annoyed about it.
bothers me every episode. It's like, yes, I can see the glitches, and I'm like, can you? Bitch, your eye brown. Can you?
Bitch, your eye brown.
I don't know. Like, listen, I don't have the greatest eyesight, but like, I can't see that shit. Also, like, my suspension of disbelief can only go so far in these worlds where it's like, yes, I get it. Like, these things exist in the world, but isn't running randomly dangerous? Like, I don't care if she's falling right, but it looks like when she's looking, like there's like 17 things straight ahead, and it's like, how is that person behind you not going to step in one of those? Like, odds are, like, she's done. Like, but it is what it is. I'll follow exactly in your footsteps, even though we are different heights, so we have different strides. But you know, logic. It's
Not important.
it's such an interesting show to me, but like, I don't understand what's going on. Like
The only
can they
hope,
just kiss already? Like, I don't know. Like,
the only hope I have for it, because they kind of set this up at the beginning of the episode, and maybe this is where we're going, is that the stuff from the other side is seeping in much more into the real world. Because, I mean, they get fucking ramen shop yeeted into the
she
other
put the
side.
hat on?
Yeah, because she put the fucking hat.
at what point
Ramen
is Zelma
shop
gonna
girl.
shoot her ass? Like, I'm sorry. Like, at some point she gotta go. She causing more trouble than she's worth. You get rid of her, you don't gotta go back there. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Look at this neat fucking hat we got 2 episodes and didn't talk about. What if I wear it? Don't.
Okay, but like, what if I? Oh no! I know. And then like they forget about it for like 20 minutes and go, but what could have brought us here? The hat. It's like, what do you think brought you here? Like, I would like Dylan said, like I just want a goal. Like, what's
Mhm.
is there any? No progress has been made. Nothing has happened other than like they're just getting closer to each other, I guess. Like I don't. Are they like?
I want them to get a sniper. I think that's the next goal.
What?
I just want them to snipe each other. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, you want them to get like a sniper rifle, or you want them to
Yeah,
get like
yeah,
a
yeah.
sniper in their party?
Ooh.
Because
Why not both?
either of those are
For one
potential.
character,
Either of those can
still
potentially
okay.
happen. We can have this captain guy stick around with a sniper rifle, or they could all just die and they just take their
Man,
guns.
Oh, that's
it's really
awful.
fortunate this U.S. embassy had one Japanese guy in the military who also was the first one to see them.
Well, I think it probably makes
Awful.
sense.
That they did too. I gotta talk about
That's
it.
it wasn't that bad.
So bad.
Go for it, go
It was so much better than most of them, dude. Probably you don't even know.
So bad.
That
I-
English dub was
Leg
90%
down,
better than
dog.
every other one I've heard.
Leg.
I was like, is he Darth Vader?
It wasn't
Dude.
as good as Great Pretender.
I
But
don't
like,
understand why they'll just get like English voice actors, right?
I appreciate that on our end, the subtitles, you could see the English subtitles, and they just covered them with Japanese.
I saw that. The Japanese subtitles.
Dude, it's just like I just don't understand dubs, man. Like, it's like you could just get an American speaking voice actor and speaking normally. Like one of us fucks could do it. Like, come on.
Yeah, but money and also communication to that voice actor to get what you want out of it. It's more work than it's worth. You can just pay some cheap actor. As opposed to,
I
like,
think
outsource.
I think this next episode.
Anime writers make anime on their own, but one day they outsourced it. welcome to Other Side Picnic's design team.
No, that's X-Arm.
That's not even outsourced, dude.
I think this next episode's a make or break for Other Side, probably. It's probably gonna draw the line here on whether or not it's going to have any potential further, or whether or not it's really like pushed its stay. However, again, we got a couple of stuff that's still around, so depends how
Yeah, that's
fed
the
up I
thing.
get with what
There's
it
just, like,
does or doesn't do.
Shit. Just do.
It's not been a
there's
good
like-
season for us.
There's like 3 or 4 shows I just want gone. But it's like 3 of these shows are gonna last.
True.
Like fuck.
So Jackman,
Yeah.
talk to me about Skate.
Ooh, I like this show. I enjoyed what happened in this show. We got left off with a cliffhanger. The cops showed up. Ooh. I predicted it.
He
Adam
gave him a nice hug.
Adam fucking yeets some random bystanders as he slides down the hill at supersonic
fun.
speed.
Oh, yeah,
for
that was
no
crazy.
goddamn fucking
That was
reason.
that was crazy. Like I was like
No, he used
I
them
was
as
like-
as a pivot.
this dude got fucking tossed. This dude came out with a broken arm. And then there was like a genuine like I generally don't want you to skate. And then Snow was like, "Nah, fuck you. I'm gonna skate." And I just enjoyed it. I thought they needed to do what they needed to do, change it up. If not in the beginning, they changed it in the end. It wasn't just an immediate like race ending. It was a cliffhanger and leading up to the cops now know about this place, right? What the fuck's gonna happen?
Who called
We left
him?
off. Adam knows the police force,
Mhm.
but I feel like we're gonna get a change of a scenery,
I would-
which could be cool.
I do want to talk thoughts on the race not having a definite conclusion. I think this is the best thing for this race. I don't think it's believable that Langa should win it, and I think it doesn't. I think it's worse for the show to just have Adam body our 2 main characters in a row. I think it's better that it leaves Langa with a sense of, instead of making Adam someone who's hunting Langa, now Langa's interested because there's something that he gets out of racing Adam. So you
It's
have
the zone.
you have a character chasing something despite the other character not wanting him to. And I'm a sucker for this kind of story plot line in shows like this, because I imagine we're gonna get a Reki has to beat Langa and bring him back kind of thing. and I'm a real sucker for those types of storylines.
That would be. I never thought about that.
You guys have been like on skate.
I mean, Langa's got the sauce. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
The
man's move.
show just has the same formula every
But at the same time,
episode.
But this one
we've
didn't,
watched
though.
5 episodes,
It did. No, it
and they've
didn't.
driven
It was-
down the same hill 5 times. And that's been the show.
That's true. It is
Cliffhanger.
the same fucking hill. I'm getting
But
tired.
like, it somehow doesn't feel like the same hill because it always feels
doesn't,
like there's
yeah.
parts that they always focus on different parts of the race where it's like, I mean, yes, there's the bit when we know Mia does the thing where he does the rail grind or whatever on that bit. Then we see Reki do that the next episode. That's an important plot point for that to continue with. But like in the one episode, we see Lenga during one of the turns, instead of turning, just jump off a tree. That hasn't happened yet or since. Like that hasn't been a
Again,
thing that
yeah.
they've done again.
They did a fucking half loop flip, like from a half pipe.
Yeah, my man just fucking like verted
Tunnel.
on this shit. Like,
They fucking
don't
salsa
know.
dance, man.
But yeah, I mean, the show is literally the same formula. It is build up into a race, into an aftermath reflection on the race,
here's my
or
question.
like a cliffhanger into the next episode. It's
So when they were dancing with each other on his board, where the fuck did Langa's board go?
I just
And
They-
then just
he
magically
locked-
reappeared.
Yeah, he locked the board into Adam's board
What?
because he has
What?
he has claws on his board. He locked them in. He locked it in.
Whatever.
Yeah.
you're just mad that you're not as good as him.
you just mad
You're
you don't
right.
you just mad that Dio hasn't danced with you on a
You just-
skateboard yet.
You just didn't get the love hug, man.
I don't. Yay, physics. I just.
And then the fucking
It's okay. I don't hate
the
it. but, like, I
using
don't like
the
it.
bodies to fucking drift around the corners.
That
I was like,
funny.
that shit's fucking insane.
That was the most logical thing
Yeah.
I've seen the entire time.
we get the
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
And by logical, I mean it would have ripped his fucking arm off, and he would.
They're just watching on their phones, and the dude just gets dragged. He's like, ugh.
He
Imagine
would
going
totally spilled out
spectating-
doing that because like the momentum would have carried him off the board, but it's fine.
Imagine that guy like coming home. He's like, "Hey, how was the race today?
Just like
Oh, I got like ankle dragged halfway."
You just see like his entire left side is just scabbed over, like.
the cops
I
just
got
drive
the
up the
worst
hill. What the
raspberry
fuck's
today.
wrong with this guy?
Oh man,
yeah,
did
there's
you take a nasty spill down the? Oh honey, did you take a nasty spill down that? slope
cops
today?
come up, and there's
Nah.
just like 2 back-to-back guys, just like,
Nah. Listen, I was watching Adam race. Who the fuck's Adam? You know, he's this guy who's like really hot and kind of horny for this like random Canadian. But like, yeah, he was taking a corner and just grabbed my ankle and just fucking tore me a new one, man. Like,
I also like the hidden personalities, right? I mean, it's like a stage name for
Mhm.
all these people, and it's like
Sefiraki.
Cherry. Yeah, Cherry is like
Chatty-san,
he's like an actual like writer, like proper,
professional
and
calligrapher.
fucking he gets called out, and he's like, I have no idea who you fucking are, and then he gets called out again, and then he takes him off to the side and just like, what the fuck is that shit, man?
Listen good. Shut the fuck up.
You
and I
you
don't know,
do
it's just
that
like-
here.
I just enjoyed like all the different personalities coming together. The skating is cool in my opinion. The animation is pretty good.
These characters
for-
feel like characters in this show.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
we've dived into Mia a bit, and he feels like an actual person. I appreciate that Reki's reasoning isn't, dude, I got bodied. You're gonna get bodied. It's at least deeper than that of the. I got
don't want you to get bodied.
I got a friend who got real bodied before, and like
You got fucked
I got
up.
you into skateboarding, and I really don't want to lose another person who doesn't want to skate with me because they get bodied. And they hinted at this earlier in a couple of episodes about Reki like being hesitant about like when he was prepping for the Atom race. There were signs that he knew someone who got fucked up in skateboarding. So like it's nice to see them building that. I also appreciate that like they're clearly building the tension between these two because Reki's like, you're not gonna like skate him again, right? And Lang is like, no.
Maybe.
I also really like the Adam an Eve thing where he's like
It's a thing.
the freeze frame, yeah, thing where he's just got the wings out.
Tango.
I thought that was pretty cool. Change of art.
The man wants to dance with you. I also think the person who called the cops, there's a female character who hovers around Adam when he's not Adam, like when he's in his business mode. We haven't really seen her at all outside of the shot this episode. I think when they show her, it's probably her.
100%.
Because it has to be. I feel like it has to be someone we know, and it's probably someone tied to him. So that's my stake on that one. I do hope that this will result in a change of scenery for the races. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that is what the show needs at this point.
It could go to like a sewer race, like down like the sewers and shit like that. There's a lot of scenery changes. I feel like would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
if only they used any of the scenery changes to show a race besides just the same hill. But don't worry, he learned how to do that rail slide in about 7 seconds because he's a god.
He's a god. He's too
He's
good.
the main character.
Snowboarding can do that to you.
Jackman's out here flexing.
Yeah, me and my rail slide and snowboard. Yeah. My wakeboard. I know how to do McTwist off my wakeboard. Like, come on,
Michael.
It's easy.
Was it you or was it Ashlyn who brought up the idea that maybe Adam used to snowboard as well?
Definitely wasn't me.
So it was probably Ashlyn. We watched this with our friend Ashlyn, and they were like, "Yeah, what if like Adam used to like snowboard with like Longest Dad or something?"
What if
Oh shit!
I was like, this
Adam
seems.
is Longest Dad?
I was like, oh no. I'm pretty sure we've seen the photo, and they're definitely not the same person. We do know that Adam has connection to Joe and Cherry, that they used to be like a crew.
What if Adam just wants to be his dad? You know what I'm saying?
Jackman.
Ready.
No.
I'm not getting my wakeboard out of the garage. It's like way out there.
Any other thoughts on Skate?
In the boat.
The show is just kind of vibing. It's not.
The show's a vibe.
I think
I like it.
It's doing what it's trying to do good. There are parts that could be better. I don't think the show's perfect, but like, I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the skateboarding. I enjoy the dumb bullshit because, as Sean has made, that makes the point he makes constantly. It's a lot like WWE, like professional wrestling and that kind of thing, where it's like, it's more about the show and the spectacle than the actual race and the outcome.
Like, if you go to something like this 100%, this shit would be fucking bopping in real life, right?
Adam's a showman. He puts on a show when he skates, and it's every time Adam's there, it's just really cool to watch him do stuff because if the love hug is such a ridiculously dumb move that has no actual there's no practical purpose, but it looks cool.
I also like the breakdown.
And he dances with you.
I like the breakdown of the love hug, which is they explain how you do it. They explain how he does it, and then and then Recky's like, "Cool, now you're gonna be fine." They're like, "No, that's not how that works. You have to like train your brain to realize that like he's coming at you, so you have to move, idiot." Like the idea that like your body's not used to seeing someone come uphill at you, even if you understand how, that doesn't change the fact that you're not used to it.
The idea of showing it as like a punch and then flinching at the punch, it resembles a lot. And it's just, I thought that was a really cool detail of like, you're not ready for this because you flinched. And then the idea of pushing that to a different limit, I thought was pretty cool.
I'm gonna take this since Tommy's not here. Dungeon Boonies. This is a weird episode in that it chooses to give us something that does not matter for the opening before the OP. After the OP, we set up a character arc for a character who is a supporting cast character. We then introduced a new character in the last 5 minutes of the episode for them to get bought. No, not those two.
Oh,
the one who gets just bodied by.
Yep.
Yeah, the third year or whatever in the academy who just gets stomped.
Is depressed now.
Who then comes back to our witch to be like, Senpai, I love you. Oh no, the boy who bodied me is taking you from me. I'm now going to be an antagonist. Why was this here?
And
You
she's an
have, like-
antagonist with our former hero.
You have like
Hmm.
we don't know a lot about it. You have like this this somewhat okay plot line to follow already. It also just felt like we bookend that plot line real quick by just being like, "Oh hey, the sword. This irrelevant sword that's caused
That was
all
dumb.
these problems." This feels like this should have been handled a lot slower. And like a chunk of this episode, it's not a lot happens besides like the best part of this episode is fleshing out the mercenary's backstory and introducing the characters who relate to her, because I think those two are enjoyable to a degree.
I think the idea with the third year or whatever who's like going to Marie and is like, oh, sad Lloyd.
Yeah.
It's like at the end, I think we have the bit where it's like I think she is like under a bridge with Shuma or whatever.
Yeah.
Or someone. I assume the idea is that she's gonna turn into our antagonist for these next like 4 episodes, and she's gonna make a pact with a devil or a demon lord or something, or just make a pact with Shuma because he's essentially a demon lord,
Probably.
and like she's gonna get a lot of power and then be a villain, and then Lloyd's gonna need to go kick W and bop her.
My problem with that is she literally comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, give me anything to establish this character beforehand.
Why does she even know Lloyd?
They
Like,
go to the same school, maybe.
they haven't interacted?
It's just because
all I
Lloyd is with Marie, and she saw Marie with Lloyd one time that we didn't see.
Ladies
Or
and
like
gentlemen,
she happened to look on from the side when Marie saved Lloyd with the tornadoes from literally murdering a man.
we need to cut to the chase. We've been lied to. This is a harem show.
What do you mean lied to?
Yeah.
I know from 3 minutes
I
in.
think we knew about this from the get-go.
I mean, listen here. I know it's a harem show, but when I'm watching harem, I expect to see some goddamn fan service, and we're not getting any of that. We're just getting horny belt girl and now horny arm girl. And don't get me wrong, I'd give an arm and a leg for that girl. However, it doesn't exist. Don't care. Moving on.
You can be a harem show, not have to show tits.
And you can also be a harem show and show tits and then have my attention.
You
This is
cannot be a harem
wildly
show
offended.
and show tits. I think this episode has weird problems that like make it not that enjoyable for me and make me worry about this show.
The plot.
This episode wasn't great for me, in my personal opinion.
I
I mean,
it's fine without the very end where they introduce that character that just now hates Lloyd because he exists. Like I think side character plotlines are good. You develop the supporting cast, right? I want to know more about her mithril arm. Oh, look, it's about that sword that he pulled out. That'll be relevant. Oh, look, it's the prize. What? No way. Crazy. All right, let's fight. Okay, random character just interjects like for no reason. For no reason, like you said. And it's just like, man, show. See, you almost made me think this was gonna be a good episode for a second there. You almost had me, but don't worry, I paid attention long enough to know that it wasn't.
I'm
Go ahead, Jackman.
fine with sticking around because I enjoy the comedy.
It is better than like most of the other shows, but like I'm over it.
I think the show's fine. Again, like a lot of these shows, it's not doing anything terrible.
Yeah.
I think this
But
episode
like a lot of these
was
shows, it doesn't have a plot.
particularly. I think this is one
Yeah.
of the show's weaker episodes.
I
I
will
think the fact that it that does the sword thing at the beginning, it's just like randomly, oh, festival, they got a sword. Well, that was kind of weird. Okay, that felt out of nowhere, and it's only set up so they can have a dumb gag with it at the end. Then it did not. That entire gag with the sword was not funny. None of that was funny. We spent 3 minutes on an unfunny joke, and that's very sad when I'm up. It's only 20 minutes of anime.
I will agree that I have no idea what the main plot is. Like,
He just wants to be a soldier. He wants
The
to
dude-
get good.
is from a hero village, but has no fucking clue. He's already defeated a demon lord in like episode 3, and I just like the only thing that's keeping me is just the comedy, and it's like I can't even say this is good comedy.
Dylan, what killed you?
I was just when Michael said it was just a really long, unfunny joke. I instantly thought of Meisetsu's sliding doors joke.
It got you. It finally got you.
Like,
You know,
That
you know,
joke's a
teacher-
time
the
bomb.
teacher in
It
F1
waited
was right.
a whole
That joke
season.
is funnier
Bomb.
as you hear it more and more.
No, it's not funny in the sense of that was a good joke.
No,
It's funny
because
and
he brought
that
up
was a
in the
dog shit joke.
Exactly. That's fine. You know who else tells a bunch of shitty jokes all the time? Me.
What also really was bad about this episode is in the beginning, it's really hard to tell what the fuck's going on in that Sword Village because you have a character narrating to us while two other characters have dialogue at the same time. So we have 4 lines of fucking captions going on, and they all swap at the same moment. And I have no idea what anyone's saying to the point where I
Your
blanked
eyes are
and
going
went,
like.
It's like trying to watch a Monogatari. It's like pause to read the goddamn subtitles to understand what's going on to keep watching the show.
It's a good old SpongeBob meme.
to me, this was an episode of this show that went, maybe things aren't gonna be so good, because I thought this show was like gonna be solid, and now I'm a little worried about it.
Couldn't agree more.
Definitely wasn't a strong one.
Okay, but like who totally called it that his hero buddy is gonna be a villain and main?
I think we all did.
Guy.
Yeah, I think we all
His
kind of
brother or something like that. Yeah.
I called that
Michael.
episode fucking one.
Michael, let's try to finish this out. Your
Oh,
thoughts
boy.
on Wonder Egg this week?
I mean, as I say every week, I really liked this show. Like this week, I like what we got. I like the idea I like the whole thing they do at the beginning where they frame, Momoe's thing, alongside what Ai's doing, and they like cut back and forth in a way that you can very clearly tell what's happening with both of them, and they each make sense. But it's condensing that segment, so it's not just we watch Momo do something, then we watch I do something right after, because that would have been really dumb and really bad. So they like condense them together in a way that makes sense. Also, I just think Momoe as a character is really compelling. I like the idea that they are a female that was born with a very masculine body, and people call them a guy, and they don't like that. Like that's a very interesting character. I mean, it's not like it's the most original character of all time. That's kind of impossible to get at this point, but I think it is a very interesting character when done well, and I think it feels like from what we've done, it's going to be done well. I think my only gripe with this episode is that it's just kind of like we had this whole thing at the end of last episode where it's like, oh, Rika got turned into a stone, and it's like, oh no, that's bad. But then it's like,
JK.
wait, Rika's just fine. They're immortal in this world. Why was there ever a problem? And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. But also, it's like they framed it in a way where it felt like it was gonna be bad.
Here's the reason I don't hate this. Is because
effects.
it really feels, well, that separate issue. The reason I don't hate the idea of doing this is because it's nice to have the main character go, oh no, that's bad, that just happened, and then go, do you forget how the world works? And we as the viewer go, oh yeah, I forgot how the world works. Fuck, that was the point of that, huh?
See, I wasn't worried about how the issue was like, I know how the world works. I know she was gonna be fine because they wouldn't kill off a character. I mean, they shows can. Like Tokyo Ghoul is an expert at introduce a character, kill character in the same 20 minutes.
Never say never, you know.
However, like I understood the needs of the world. I'm like, okay, so she can be fine, but what's gonna happen when she goes back to the other world? Like, is she's gonna like not be able to breathe? Like,
I think
and then it just glosses over it.
I think the show's making the choice to go, okay, it's not fatal. We don't have to watch every time they go back that they go to the hospital every time they go back.
I think it's mostly just the physical harm that's left over. I mean, because I don't know. Like, nothing was done to her body physically.
I feel like being petrified is way worse than,
because it wasn't being petrified. It was being surrounded in stone. Like stone built around her. She didn't turn to stone. Technically,
Han Solo got away with it, so I mean, she's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
This episode we learned Nehru stuff, right? We learned she's the CEO of a company, or was that last episode?
She's the president of a company. We learned that, yeah.
Yeah, that was real fun.
Oh, that was funny.
That.
sure. But then she would have suffocated. Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I was so confused that there was no recompense of that. However, moving on, like other than that, like one aside, I think this episode was very good. Like very, very good.
If
Like
it keeps happening, though, I feel like that could be a pretty
I feel like if it
bad
doesn't follow its
thing.
own rules, it's gonna bother me. That's the
Yes.
biggest thing. Like, if
Because
these rules and this precedence, I expect there to be adequate like compensation for these risks that they're taking. Right?
because it could change the character's mindset of like
Mhm.
she's not in a bad state, right?
Why does gravity sometimes work? Is also what bothers me.
Gravity
Like,
only works if you want it to, because it's a
gravity
dream
only
world.
works if she jumps off a giant tower and falls to the ground perfectly. They didn't even they glossed over that too, which bothered me.
It's
But
all
like,
it's all about conviction.
oh my
Stop.
God, swear to God,
Yeah,
stop.
listen, it's a dream
Not
world.
bring that into a good
Things
show.
happen the way your brain wants them to. And they're like,
Meeting
oh,
fun.
I'm falling, so I'm falling. But like they can tell their brain I'm not falling. or
Slow
they won't
fall.
be,
I don't
because
know.
that's how dreams
But
work.
either way, other than like the suspension of disbelief and some of those parts, this episode really good. New character, very good. Other cast interacting, very good. And I love that we have our 4 girls together now, right?
We finally have our 4
But
main characters.
the biggest thing I noticed from this episode that I don't think I've touched on really too much in the podcast, but I think I've talked to Michael about this and some of my buddies, is we're starting to get a sense that like all the characters that they see in these eggs are related to their own personal backstories, right? Like, I had characters that were bullied at school, suicidal, had
Yeah.
very bad experiences at school.
Someone who was
and-
bullied by students, and someone who was essentially bullied by a person they looked up to, like a teacher.
A staff member,
a
a
code.
teacher. We're getting a which her friend might have
Rika.
been sexually assaulted by a teacher and was bullied at school, right?
Rika's
Meanwhile, we have
eggs
Rika,
were
who's got the idols, the idol twins, and she was formerly an idol. Now we see Momoe, and she's getting all these girls that are, what's the word? Longing for love, we'll say, right? Easy to fall in love, easy to fall for a hero
They
to
all,
a
like,
degree,
It also
regardless.
could be that they all accept her as a girl
Not
by the
just
time
that.
they're done. Like
They do.
we don't know 100. I think we don't know 100%.
She doesn't tell all of them, but
what it is. Yeah, but I think it's
everybody that she rescues ends up being quick to fall in love with her, right?
Mhm.
They're waiting for that prince in shining armor, right? And her backstory is that she was the one person who told her that she had fallen in love with, basically. And we had that weird touch me scene in the infirmary that we didn't.
we
We're
should
gonna find out more about, but
we should also talk about this for a hot second. If you are someone
Wonders.
who has trauma, heads up before you start or pick up this show.
oh yeah, it
I
hits
don't-
on a lot of
I
points.
think episode 4 in particular is the one that needs it. Episode 3 also definitely has moments for people who have been through stuff with self-harm. Episode 4 starts to dive into like sexual assault stuff more than we've seen previously. And to me, this is a sign that the show could tone shift into very more serious and more explicit content. So if you're someone who could potentially, have bad reactions to that, I wouldn't necessarily watch Wonder Egg. I think it's definitely something that I think by the time I'm done watching it, I will know for sure how I can approach bringing this to people's attention as a show, because
I think the show dropped the slice of life tag and added the psychological horror thriller tag to it. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, I started seeing this show wind up on the list of things like Madoka Magica, where it goes things
yeah.
that have nice names but aren't very nice.
Things that look nice but aren't. Gakko Garashi, School Live.
Happy
Live.
Sugar Life? Is that the name of the one?
Yeah, that's the one where they're all like, "Oh, we're vibing at school. We're all nice, happy moe." Then actually, they're all like under this guise where it's the fucking apocalypse, but they're just ignoring
Gakko
it.
Garashi.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
also
talking about
Higurashi, which got its remake last
Let me
season.
cry. But like, again, this is the only show of the list that we've watched where I'm like, I don't get what the goal is here, but I'm okay waiting to learn because the show has my interest and the show is building to a point where it's like, we're getting bits and pieces of these characters in just the right amount that every episode I'm like, okay, but what's next? What's the actual story? You're trying to piece it together yourself to see if you can understand these characters and their motivations and to see what is actually the goal of this place, right?
We
Like,
also
why are
haven't-
these girls here?
We also haven't engaged with Nehru yet. Like, we know the person's her
Yes,
sister,
I was
but we
saying that
know
too.
nothing about her location. We know nothing about what her eggs are like.
She's incredibly athletic, we found out, and possibly a gymnast. Like,
Yeah, we just know at one point she tried to do like 30 eggs at a time and almost died.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see the four of them do a sleepover and to make it very clear that it's probably going to be Nehru who has the strongest will out of the four of them. I
we'll
think
see.
it's very possible
I
that
think
that's the drag.
I think I want to see what the final bosses of this, right? And if my prediction is true about that, like what I'm thinking about, like this is like, is the final issue that this is all their own issues that they're dealing with, and that the last person they have to deal with is the person they're trying to save, if that makes sense, and they just haven't come to terms with the fact of what happened, you know? Because it seems like a lot of the characters kind of are either in denial or deflecting or putting aside what actually seems to be the issue, right?
Loss in itself is trauma. So
Like we're getting, just to use I as an example for a quick one, like her friend jumped off the rooftop of a building, right? But then we're seeing her with the teacher in the classroom. We saw her getting bullied by the girls because of her relationship with this counselor, right? And like we're getting a little bit more every time we see a flashback, and it's just, the show just like grips me and is like, this could be something like I can't explain it, but it just makes me feel like this could be the most special show of the year, and I don't know why, but I hope it gets there because damn, is it good right now.
It's hitting on a topic that's very hard for things to hit
Very
on.
sensitive.
It's a very sensitive topic, and I feel like it's doing a very good job doing it in a way that isn't offensive to people who have these types of traumas, and it's doing it in a very real way. Yes, it's doing it through the lens of like middle schoolers, but a big thing is a lot of these things start in middle school for people. It's when they finally realize different things about themselves, when your body finally has gone through puberty, which is when someone like Momoe would finally be at a point where their body has formed that way, like their body has gone through its major growth spurt, at least the first stage of it. So like a big thing, like a lot of bullying and stuff like this starts in middle school, and that's a big thing with what this is doing. They're all 14, I believe. They're all like getting out of middle school.
Jackman, Dylan, you guys had opinions of this show. And Dylan, you expressed earlier that may have changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am starting to like this show. Maybe it's just like the introduction sequence of like the first four characters made it like, I wish it was a more unique way to introduce them, honestly, because it felt like it was just like same first four episodes in a row. But now that they're all together, I like their interactions and how they actually like work together. I still think every boss is something from Super Mario Sunshine. And there was a weird line. I don't mean to nitpick the show, but there was just like a really weird line that just like it made me laugh, and I felt bad that I laughed. Was the part where the girl who admitted that she was touched inappropriately by the creature, where she just yells back and just go touch your wife. I was like, what? I never thought about that.
Oh, you're talking about the girl that was molested by the guy that she was saving the first
who was, as they say on the Twitch streams, rope.
Yeah, and she just like she gets pissed off. She's like, just go touch your wife. I'm just like, wait a minute,
is that what you got married for?
Yeah, isn't that what you got married for? Follow that up. That was, I mean, it's a point to make.
But
it begs the question, right?
I like when she got new weapons too. I was like, okay. I don't know. I like when the show like has variety. I don't like when it does the same thing. I think this is a really good show, especially with the variety of topics it seems to be introducing and like covering. I hope it doesn't use the same method to solve them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The show, it's unique in that it is unique. So keep it that way.
I like colors.
Yeah, Jackman?
Dude, I don't know. I've been the
Mhm.
last like 5-10 minutes discussing this. I've been trying to phrase this in the correct way. I think the show's getting better, but I'm just having this sinking feeling that everything that is happening in these dreams is happening. The reason why it's happening in real life is because the characters are doing it to themselves. That has been on my mind for the last couple of weeks, where it's like they're in this dream and they're dreaming. However, the the things like the physical harm and all that, I feel like is actually a like
Self-harm.
self-harm in actual life, right?
I was having a similar thoughts.
And I just can't get rid of that. And I just feel like it's just not, I don't know. I just don't know how to put it. I think the show's getting better to watch for me personally, but it's a sinking feeling of like, if I'm correct, do I really want to watch this, right? In the sense of I'll still watch it, but I don't know if it's like, if deep down this is actually what's happening, it's gonna lose a lot more value for me, if that's worth anything. Um, I don't know. I like the idea of them just progressing through, like Pablo said, getting the new weapons and getting all that shit. I thought it was pretty cool. I would like to see some progress between the characters, in the sense of like unity and all that jazz. But I don't know. I don't know. It. I gave the show the more positive side this week instead of a sleigh.
I definitely think you're right in that the way this show decides to execute whatever it's going for is going to matter immensely. Whatever its like
Mhm.
final punch it's gonna hit us with,
Because
how it chooses to execute it and what it chooses to do is going to matter immensely more than probably any other show we've watched before. Like this is a different level than Day I Became a God, where like we had ideas and like the way it executes it like did matter back then too. I I think the consensus with Wonder Egg seems to be more of as long as it keeps doing the unique things that are good about it, we're fine with going along for the ride. But it's really gonna matter how it decides to end this.
also, as bad as this sounds, I feel like they're running out of ways to. I, I'm honestly not even gonna finish that sentence. Um, there's only so much, right, that one can take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's a sense of, if more shit keeps happening to these main characters, shit is gonna change. And that could be a really bad mental state for all the characters together. Where it's like they meet up in real life and one of the characters doesn't make it out, you know, and they die in real life. I don't know. It's it's treading on this super fine line
Mhm.
of, this is okay for now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure it will be okay type deal.
This show makes me feel so uncomfortable in all of the correct ways. Like it's just got so much tension in it. Don't look at me like that. No, hang on.
I am laughing at Dylan's
Like
face for reference, by the
like
way.
that's the psychological like hold it's got. It's just like I just feel so uncomfortable watching this show, but at the same time I love every second of watching the show because it's just like it's just so hard to explain it because it's such a weird concept and like such deep important things like that just I mean I feel like everyone knows somebody who's dealt with like one of these issues, if not all of these issues, right? And yeah, no, it hits really close on those aspects, and it does a really good job of like just world building and character building. Because man, Cloverworks is fucking outdoing themselves this season with the visuals, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Between this
Now,
and Horimiya, dude, everything is just so dynamic to
I
me.
will continue on my point of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gaining more attached to the characters. However, it's still not the same feeling as if they were older.
Yeah.
If they were all of them combined 5 or 6 years older, I think this show would be hitting a lot differently. I don't know. It's just like they're still kids in the sense of feelings, and their mind is just not fully there. You know, things can change like quickly, and I don't know. It's just a thing of it's almost there for me. But if it was just if they were a little bit older, I would be right there with the show. You know.
Yeah, I have a thing for both of your points. For Dodge's, I think that's why I think the fact that you can relate to a lot of these things, or you know someone who you can pull a relation to, is what makes the fact that you want this to end in a good way for the show. That like it handles it well, because you want this to be handled well. When it's sensitive material like this that you have connections to, you or you know people who have been through it, you want to see a form of media that addresses it and handles it right. And then for your point, Jackman, I think choosing to make these characters young is could be a way to say you have to face the fact that this happens to people who are like them. You may not like you may think that this would work better if they were older, but that's not how that works.
Yeah, no, I understand that reasoning.
Yeah.
Of my reasoning is a bad way of reasoning.
But I also
in the
understand
sense of
It makes sense in both ways.
I understand.
I'm
where you're
100%
coming
with
from,
you in that
too.
fact.
I understand where you're coming
It's just-
from too, though.
Yeah, there's just that small reason of it as an anime, right?
Yeah.
Versus I can understand it if it's like
If this was a movie,
shown in like, yes,
you would feel it differently. Like you said,
I think I said it last time.
Oh,
if this was
man,
a
if this gets
single
movie.
run through movie, like a 2-hour long movie, I'd be right there with it the entire time.
because it's weekly, it feels different on, how you portray. I can understand that. I don't want to cut us short, but I also want to uplift. I also want to uplift a little bit before we end. Things I think this show does well that are outside of its topic sphere. I think all of the characters' weapons that we've seen so far, as we've introduced the new set of girls, are really cool. I think they're different. I think they interact and are used in fun and creative ways, between the dual scythe blades and the spear umbrella thing.
Yeah. So the idea is that Eyes is a multicolored pen.
Yeah.
Rika's is a pair of scissors, and Momoe's is an umbrella.
Yeah.
But like when they become supersized, they still look like that kind of, but they have a different air about them. It's like, oh, it's a big mace with different colors. It's two boomerang blades because that's generally how scissors are shaped, and it's a big umbrella.
That's the one thing that like the last point I'll make on the show that I still am like on the fence about is why is Ai's weapon something she picked up from another character in the Wonder Egg world, right? Because she got that
Yeah.
pen from the first girl she interacted with, and she's used different weapons with each character she's interacted with, but nothing's of her own.
Yeah.
Whereas Rika, those are probably related to her scars. She probably cut herself with scissors or various other sharp objects. And the umbrella probably has to do with the story behind Momoe. We'll find out. But why is hers feel like it's unique? That's just another thing that just adds to like the uncomfortable suspense of just not knowing week in and week out.
A thing with Rika's as well is that the top half of the scissors is slotted like a razor blade or like an X-Acto knife kind of thing, like you'd use like a box cutter, that kind of shape. And
They're sick as hell though.
Yeah, that's the point. Is that it's probably an allusion to, allusion to, the fact that she has self-harm. There's a big thing in this episode or last episode or whatever.
Episode.
Yeah.
The other point I want to make is I can watch this show tonight and I will still remember the plot of it by next Monday. I can't do that with every show in this season. If you were to give me some of these shows and I had to watch them and wait a week, I would not be able to fucking tell you. I start you. Perfect example of that. Fuck if I remember the details of I Start You, but I remember this show.
I remember everything that happens in the show.
It's topic, obviously, but also, too, we don't talk about this too much because it's kind of the consensus for a couple of these. Show looks fucking beautiful. Its sound design's amazing, as is like everything. Even the bad shows this season have good sound design because I guess we're just doing that now. Cool. And it looks incredible. And we haven't talked animation a lot, but there's not a second in this show where I think the animation dips.
Yeah.
We have to do a thing if we don't have any other points, but obviously if we still have points, we can talk Wonder Egg a little.
I will also say one last thing. As a follow-up to my first point of this could be them actually reliving things, they've caused their own self-harm. What if they're actually just all dead already?
I mean, the show could absolutely pull that trigger on us. It could be Ed, Edd and Eddy. You're absolutely right.
God damn it.
Sorry, I cut out halfway through my explanation, so I'm not really sure what was said.
No, you're good.
But I'll agree.
I made an Ed, Edd and Eddy joke.
Gotcha. But no, I'm totally down to do our slaves and saves as well.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
What's the list? What's the list? What's the list? What's the list? What's the list?
Okay, I saved 3 shows. Can you guess what they
are?
Back Arrow.
243.
No, saved. Which one did I save?
You saved Horimiya.
243.
Wonder Egg.
Horimiya.
Wonder Egg.
Kimono Jihen?
Kimono?
Yeah.
Right.
Dylan just has me read out
Dylan, we played bot lane together for a month. I'm in your head, dude.
I played Back Arrow, because that show can fuck off. I played 2.43. Give me volleyball, or I will literally crucify you.
I will crucify you.
What are the other shows? I Start You, please. Let me
Idol Show, Heaven's Design Team.
Idly Pride. I think Idly Pride is just as bad as I Start You.
Yeah,
I hate idol shows. And then
you guys were so for this meme when we were selecting shows, and now suddenly the regret sets in.
Well, it's 2, 3, there wasn't that many other shows to choose from.
You could have picked Spite. You could have picked any of the 5 isekais.
There was a couple.
We had 5 isekais
there was
we
a
could
few.
have watched.
Star of the Praetor was my actual serious show I was gambling on.
God, that was so disappointing.
That was me with Egg, because I was like, I expect Egg to be good. And then I'm going to pick Idly Pride.
Other Side was my pick for that, where I was like, I'm taking Other Side seriously. I'm picking Back Arrow the fuck around.
See, for me, I just saw Horimiya Slice of Life of Season. I am Slice of Life guy. I am required to pick Slice of Life of Season. That's just the game.
Yeah, Other Side.
One of them's going to be good.
Off army dudes that don't make any goddamn sense. A setup episode is probably the worst thing for that fucking show right now. But
I could agree more.
I could agree more.
Is there any other ones that I slayed?
I think that's everything.
All of them.
And Dungeon Boonies, I think.
Dungeon Boonies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's literally I feel like it's just a kid's show now. I'm kind of over it.
It's
back again, baby. They're
it's
stuck.
fucking die. Fucking die again.
They're stuck
Guys,
in the
they
town.
made it off the island.
Are we gonna make it out of the town?
I also I reverse of Dylan slayed 3 shows.
Wow.
I Start You, Heaven's Design Team, and
Idly Pride.
Idly Pride?
You were wrong. I slayed 2.43 this week.
It wasn't
Uh,
Idly Pride.
Idly
I-
Pride?
It's not bad.
I'd say 2.43 because I think it needs to change its formula. I think it needs to do volleyball. If it really tries to hit this drama home a lot more, I don't think it's gonna be in the same boat. It is, in my opinion, didn't have the best episode this week. I didn't slay Back Arrow because why would I?
Back Arrow.
Why would I? I
Best show of
didn't.
the
I
season.
didn't slay Heaven's Design Team. It had a good week this week. Something else in particular really needs to go first, and I like this episode, so I didn't slay it. I saved Horimiya because why would I slay it? I
You
slayed.
like Heaven's
I
Design
slayed.
Team
I
because
starred
Cerberus
you.
looks like a wolf.
I slayed. I starred you. 'Cause why wouldn't I?
Dude, man, we're gonna have 3 out of 3 weeks with a perfect score.
I saved. I saved Idly Pride because it can go later. It's not as bad as I starred you for me. I'm fine with that. I saved Komodo Jihen. I like what it does. I saved Other Side. It has like another week to before I start getting worried about it. I saved Skate because I like it, and I slayed Dungeon Boonies because I really didn't like this week, and it has me really worried about its. I think outside of I Start You, this was the worst show this week. I saved Wonder Egg because I think it's going to be the best show of the season. Whether it is right now, I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be by the time we're done with it.
Yeah, I'll go next then. I'm quick. I saved everything except for 2 shows.
I know
I
what they
start
are
you.
because I can see
Yep.
it. So
And what's the second one?
Kamino.
Second one, no.
You probably
That's
the
slayed
first
Komodo
one.
Jihen.
It's
Yeah, that's the
Skate
first one.
Come on, Jihan. That's the other one.
Balls.
Yeah, no, you fucking.
I just
were
don't get it.
Not enjoying that show.
Probably
I'm
Boonies.
just not.
Yokai shit lame as fuck, dude. That's
Komodo Jihen
correct.
has one good character, and he's the mentor, and you already know he's gonna get killed or
Don't
made.
say
You
that.
just don't like children. I don't know what to tell you.
That
It's
could be
not-
it. Yeah, you hate
That's not
kids.
true. I love Wonder Egg because those
They're
children
teens.
are
They're-
characters.
They're tweens.
I don't like children who bore me, who do nothing, who are blank slates.
I don't know. I
you
wish I had a
only-
fucking
you
kick-ass
only-
kid.
You only like children who entertain you, Dosh. Well, you're on a dangerous
I
trek
mean, if
here.
you want to say it that way,
If I was editing a podcast like I used to, that might be the opening to an episode, and you might have a harpy issue just like Dylan does.
Listen,
Listen,
listen.
I'm
I'm here
not-
for the romance shows and the comedy
I'm gonna need to
and the
isolate.
good action. It's not good action.
One,
It's a slay.
2.
It's not gonna get slayed for a while. I know that,
3.
but I'm just putting that shit on notice.
Jackman.
I agree though. I think Dungeon Boonies
Yes.
is simple.
But what's your slay look like?
I only slayed 3 shows.
I start you.
Yes.
Heaven's Design Team,
Yes.
And
Dungeon Boonies.
no,
Ooh.
Back Arrow.
Idly Pride.
No.
Really?
I don't think.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it was
Before
Idly Pride.
Oh, it's Idly Pride.
Oh.
Good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Ah,
It's
that's anticlimactic. That was too
Heavens, Aichu,
Idly.
Idly, yeah, and then everything else.
obvious. Does Dylan get the clean sweep?
I slayed. I start you. This is.
yes.
Dylan managed to get
You may.
every single possible slay on 3 consecutive weeks for his shows.
Yeah, he got 3 complete. He got 3 unanimous.
3 for 3,
slays.
baby.
Oh,
3
let's-
for
That's
3.
not true. That's not true. We tied last week.
All part of the plan.
Let's bring this back. Yeah, his 2 shows tied last week.
Start you and pray that tied with every vote possible.
Dylan, let's bring this back before I reveal the full results. Obviously, we
Dylan,
already
you're a
know what's
legend.
going, but I'll give totals. Dylan, what's going next week? We haven't done this in a while. What do you think's gone?
Next week's slay is probably
I think it's a 3-way race.
it's tough
It's,
because
it's pretty tough.
it's either gonna be. It honestly depends on if us 3 hate a show more than Heaven's Design Team next week. And the only one I could think of is Idly Pride. I really think Idly Pride's gonna go next week, but my second guess would be Heaven's Design Team.
I think it's got to be Idly Pride,
Heaven's Design Team.
Heaven's Design Team, and Dungeon Boonies. I think is the sleeper for slay
I
next
think
week.
we're gonna have a good episode next week. That's
All
my-
I'm saying
I
is
think-
Heavens. Oh, Heavens has to be this week's episode.
How do you slay that in the best episode? So
I
good.
think
The honors.
I think what you're about to see, podcast, is you're gonna see Heavens or Idly next week, the other one the week after, and then we all gentlemanly vote off Back Arrow.
We just all like,
No,
yes, we're
I've
getting
never
rid of
Really?
Back Arrow. We're getting rid of Back Arrow this
That's
week. Yes, of
that's
course.
about where that's about how I see this path going.
Mecha
You
has
think
time.
you
Mecha
think
has
Boonies
time.
is gonna beat Batgirl?
It
Yeah.
depends. If all it has to do is not fuck up again, and it's
One
fine.
one of the shows has action in it. The other's a mecha. Like that's all I have to say.
Gonna be a point in this season where I'm gonna realize that Back Arrow's actually at threat of being voted off, and I'm gonna start saving the shit out of that. because
Listen, I will continue to say
You're gonna
that
be the
show-
Dodge of last season.
I will save that show if it actually starts to be a mecha and not a talk no jutsu show.
So let's run through this so that we can get out of here. 2 slays to Senin, 1 slay to Back Arrow, 2 slays to Heaven, Horimiya's all saves. 5 slays for I Start You. Man, we really are on it this season. Has there been a week where we
We are a
haven't all...
unified force to get rid of Pablo shows.
including me.
Two-
Wait, 'cause Mayasetsu had a save at the beginning of
Well,
last season.
yeah, well,
because Dodge was trying to be nice to it.
2 slays to Idly Pride.
Fucking Matsai.
A slay to Komono Jihen, a slay to
show
Other
was
Side, a
garbage.
slay to Skate, and 2 slays to Dungeon Boonies, and for the first time, 5 saves on a show that isn't Horimiya. We have 5 saves on Wonder Egg. I think that's the
I
first
did it.
time we've had. Actually, no.
Kamino. I thought Kamino did last.
Kimono might have
week.
last week. You're right. Congratulations, I Start You, on being the 4th show ever to have unanimous votes off. The title still goes
Hey,
to Noblesse for being the first
It's
show
the
to ever
first show
do
to
it.
get unanimously voted off and then make it another week.
How do we at the podcast feel that? God, you're right. How do we at the podcast feel that our unanimous vote offs have been
Dog shit shows.
X-Arm, Scar on the Praetor, I Start You, and Noblesse?
I think the scariest thing is all these shows looked like they were actually not bad at the start of the season too.
Hold on. No, we looked at.
telling me-
We
Actually,
knew
no.
X-Arm was a
Praetor.
problem.
No,
X-Arm
X-Arm was a given, and we just
X-Arm-
wanted it just because.
X-Arm was that show that like maybe it was so bad it was.
It just
good,
looked like Ruby to me.
but instead it's just
I'm
so
telling
bad.
you,
it's
early
bad.
Ruby looks better than X-Arm does.
It's so close though.
There's one scene in early Ruby that I think is as bad as X-Arm, and it's the
Yes.
rooftop running scene with Cinder.
But at least Ruby probably always kept the same shitty CG, whereas X-Arm literally had 2D and 3D in the same fucking cutscene, and I will never drop that shit. You know it's bad when Giga brings it up in his fucking videos. Oh, man.
So we run this through a Discord, and in that Discord are roles. And I thought about it, and I really would like a Discord role known as the one with the shittiest taste.
The
And
best
I
of the
would
worst.
Yeah, type it in the roll channel so I don't forget.
next season you go for
Can
4
we
shows,
vote on that?
right?
Can we vote on that?
Yeah,
all,
next
all in
season-
favor, say yay. Yay.
Yay. Next
Soon.
next
Can I
se-
give Dylan one of my shows for next season?
next season Dylan picks everything.
Oh god.
No.
We just throw away our shows then.
Guys, I think it's my last season. I think I'm gonna take a season off for school or something. Yeah, it's summer break, but I think I'm gonna take some time to myself.
Can we have a
I like to point out that even our chat's like, God, Scar and the Praetor's back.
No. Mason watched that with me. I was like, Mason, I have some anime homework. You want to watch it with me? He's like, sure. And
Bro.
we're both watching. It's like,
You're a
Mason, do you
horrible
mind if I
friend.
I was Mason, you mind if I start skipping through some of this? He's like, please.
That's as bad as me going to Michael. Hey, Michael, want to rewatch X-Arm with me?
Okay, hang on. The good part of it though is we keep showing more people Horimiya and Wonder Egg. We keep watching Horimiya and Wonder Egg over and over again.
All right. How about this for an idea? We watch the last episode of every show we vote off and vote what is the worst show of the season.
No
No.
context, we just.
No.
Yeah, no contents, just the last episode of the season.
The last episode of XR is gonna be so fucking confusing.
No, it won't.
I cannot
Wait.
wait for stars to make complete sense because
Like,
nothing
what-
has happened in that show.
What
It's
if
just been
one of
stagnant
these
bullshit
shows
for 11
goes from
episodes.
like dog shit to like, oh fuck, this is good.
They hire an animation team in between episodes 3 and 12 of X-Arm.
We should totally do like
I bet you I Star 2 would win just because it's probably the final performance, so it's just all music instead of actual character development.
If there's ever like time, I will totally do like a binge of all of the worst shows of this
This is
season.
the last
And
episode.
just us like live reacting to them.
I would totally be down.
Okay, this is important for the podcast sake, and then we can sign off. Michael and I watched Mother Basement's video about the worst anime of 2020. In it, we got to watch extended additional footage of what Ghibli 8 looked like after we voted. Dylan, it got worse. Dylan, it's so bad. There is a scene where the monk...
My show, by the way.
The monk... God, it was. The monk punches a demon and it goes... It just flies through... It hovers in the air
just shrink the
backwards.
model. It doesn't actually like collide with the ground. It just shrinks into the.
Okay,
the
so it's
back,
just like the
which
X-Arm
just
scene in
wall
episode
goes
1 where he pushed him into the wall and slapped him around a bit.
Dylan, do you want to? You have 3 guesses. What caused the virus in Ghibli 8?
Oh God, I'm not even guessing. What?
Wait.
Why?
Burgers.
Ghibli 8 was... Is that the show where it's like if
Chickens.
they touch you, they turn into like the monster, right?
Third guess.
I was watching that shit. I was like, this is kind of good. For like the first half.
The first like episode, it looked decent, and then they actually started like showing what they were.
I stopped
actually, like,
watching when they jumped from the helicopter.
Yep.
That's where we
Is that
voted off.
is
That's
that-
3.
is that
That was
episode
3.
two?
That's 3.
Episode 2.
It's 3.
I thought it was 3. It was 3.
No, 3 was the end where the dude becomes infected.
That happens in the helicopter episode.
Mm.
So it's aliens.
Alien.
That's probably
And the
not
doc-
really, bro.
and the totally not evil doctor is an alien who winds up being the final villain of the show. Congrats.
I knew it. I knew
Okay,
it.
and
I knew it.
before I'm seen as a terrorist in this country, I didn't subject Mason to all of the shows, but I did show him that one scene that pissed me off in X-Arm. I was like, Mason, you have to stop what you're doing and just look at the screen share real quick.
I
So was
think
just watching it and
X-Arm.
it goes,
I think
"Oh," I was like,
X-Arm will be held in a different light in 10 years.
I think X-Arm will be the greatest anime.
I
of
think
all
it'll
time,
become a
honestly.
classic, a cult
It's the
classic.
10 out of 10 comedy of the year, dude.
No,
See, if we
comedy
find a
of
way
the
to
year.
rewrite history and have X-Arm like be known as the show
Dude.
that came out in 1995, then
Dude,
it's a
I
really
love
good show.
Dude,
It's
I love
still
Ruby
bad
another
by that
Konosuba, man.
standards.
You guys don't like Ruby 2077?
Okay, comedy of the year though is definitely Meisetsu. The sliding doors.
Oh my god.
Bro,
All right, guys,
just wanna-
let's
I just
close
want
in
a
on the end of this
good
season.
comedy anime, you know? And just like one that just gets my sense of humor and just runs with it.
You might
Just
like Oran.
non-stop.
Oran's pretty good.
I heard
Ooh,
Sakamoto's really good.
ooh, I
I
Sakamoto's
just want
really
another
good.
Hit or miss.
Konosuba, man.
I think
I really
Setokai
like Psyche
Setokai
J.
Yakodomo is really good. It's literally just adult humor. The show. It's just sex jokes.
Okay.
The show.
Okay, guys, Dodge is talking Japanese. We gotta get out of here for the night.
This is what
Get
it's
me out
called.
of this shit.
There's no other name to the show.
I'll start spilling Gojo, man.
Chris was
Bingo.
like, sign up.
I thought it was Gorgo.
Gorge.
Gorjo.
Gorjo
Dude, Gorjo's so hot, man.
Guys,
Oh my god.
guys, check out Dodge's streams for KH randomizers. Check out Jackman on
cheer me on.
D&D podcasts.
Check out
54.
Painless.
And I have a
Next
level
Friday.
1
Follow
team that's playing on
follow
Thursday.
Dylan's League of Legends team as they continue to stomp sometimes.
Mine that got
It's a
fucking
coin
abandoned.
flip.
Michael and I
And the
Support.
branch that abandoned me.
Michael and I don't do anything outside of this in school, so. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week. On the bright side, they only get better from here. Eventually we'll only have the good shows left.
Eventually,
And,
we'll only
and
have
in the end, we'll have
3
40 and Wonder Egg.
moderately good shows.
That will be the top 3.
Guys,
I think
next-
They'll be the top 3.
Next season can't get worse.
It can't get worse.
It can't- it's not
Spring-
possible.
I could pick worse shows. I could pick worse shows when I picked.
Then
It's just-
that's your fault, and I'm voting you off the
The
podcast.
thing is, it's Jujutsu Kaisen versus everything. That's literally what it is right now.
That's fair.
Well, guys, everybody, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.